I'm Kiyan.
And this is Trust Your Doctor, that podcast that's not about Doctor Who. What?
Yeah? An episode of Doctor Who without the Doctor? What?
Yep. Or Stephen or Vicky.
Yeah.
And I think it's the only episode ever to not have the Doctor or his companions. Yep. The only Doctor Who story to feature neither the Doctor nor his companions.
Which is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder what the viewership was for this. Because basically Mission to the Unknown is a setup for a super long
12 episode
storyline. It's weird.
Yeah, called the Dalek's Master Plan, and that's not going to be next week. That's going to be the week after.
But yeah, let's check out the viewership for this, actually.
Okay, I'll look it up.
It should be lower on the page. But yes.
So this is the final, what was it? The final thing that Verity Lambert was producer for.
Oh, yeah.
8.3 million viewers. Let's compare that to Galaxy 4, just while we're at it.
Yes.
I mean, this is going to be a pretty short episode, so why not do interesting things? Galaxy 4...
Generally in the 9s with
11.3. So we got a 9,
less.
9.5, 11.3, 9.9. So Mission to the Unknown, less, which is understandable considering there's no Doctor. So
Right. But yeah, even without the Doctor and his companions, I still found this to be a pretty interesting episode, just because of what was set up here.
Yeah, the implications behind what's going to happen after this episode are pretty big.
Right, so why don't we just jump right into it then, as we always do.
We always start with jump right in.
Yes.
New
but
catchphrase.
We don't really jump right in, though. We kind of talk about
Yeah, we
other
always
things.
get off topic before we start somehow. Okay, so it's on the planet Campbell.
It was. This was a reconstruction, by the way.
Yeah, a lot of these things are reconstructions. Yeah,
Yes.
It wasn't mentioned what planet it was, I think. It might have been, maybe we just couldn't hear it.
Right. Apparently set in 399 or 4000.
Yeah, I knew that, because they
there was
said...
the interesting little thing that they said. Basically, it starts where right where the previous episode left off, which was the guy in the jungle on the planet Kemble, saying that he remembers he has to kill. Mm-hmm. Then you see a UN rocket.
Yes, UN Deep Space Force Group 1.
Right. And there's 2 crew members there trying to fix it because it's not working. Mm-hmm. Just as a lot of spaceships and the TARDIS never do in this show. So one of the guys is voicing his discontent with how they had to land there, and the other guy is just like, shut up and fix the ship.
Basically. So the kill guy shows up with a gun that Kiyan thought was a lightsaber.
It looked like a lightsaber. Well, it looked like the hilt of a lightsaber.
Let's consider this was made a good 20... No, what about
before Star Wars.
12 years before Star Wars. Star Wars was 77?
Yeah, 77.
So it was 12 years before then?
Yeah. This is the inspiration for Obi-Wan's lightsaber. No, probably
They
not.
watched this one episode of Doctor Who.
Just like the last scene of Raiders of the Lost Ark, I feel, is the inspiration for the entire premise of Warehouse 13.
Maybe.
It could be. But anyway, it's way off
That's a
topic.
different discussion.
We should do a Warehouse 13 podcast. Anyway. So the dude sneaks up on the other dudes. Very specific.
Well, we didn't get their names till after one of them died.
Right. So he sneaks up on them, and
he tries to kill one of them, but the one guy who's working on the spaceship is quicker and shoots him. And then we find out he just killed the guy named Garvey.
right, because his other companion was like, "What? You just killed Garvey?" And he was like, "Can't be undone now."
And so their names are Lowry and Corey.
Right, Corey is the one who killed Garvey, and then Lowry's the other guy. So Lowry is pretty upset because he'd known Garvey for a long time, but they both go back into the ship.
And And then it zooms in on Garvey's hand.
You see him move.
And then
he has a weird
we
thorn
erased him
sticking
from the
out.
death count.
Yes. But then...
We added him back later.
Yeah. So back in the ship, Corey reveals that he's actually part of a secret service type of organization. And I think this is where they were... So he reveals that he landed on the planet purposely because his organization had been tracking the Daleks, which he thought were supposed to be trying to form some sort of alliance and stuff. I don't know.
Well, a fighter ship in the solar system, and the wiki mentions that by the solar system they probably mean the Milky Way galaxy, because of what they're talking about in the episode. It spans way more than just our solar system.
Yeah.
But a fighter ship in the Milky Way galaxy has detected a ship that they've never seen in the Milky Way galaxy before, and apparently the description matches a Dalek ship. And so...
A description from 1,000 years ago when the Daleks invaded Earth, so that's
what they mentioned.
Yes. So this is set 1,000 years after the Dalek invasion of Earth.
Which means that the Dalek invasion of Earth happened after the Daleks.
Yeah. No.
Yes. Because it wasn't the Daleks was only set like 50 years after the Dalek invasion of Earth.
I thought it was just an unconfirmed amount of time afterwards, but before, maybe it was after this too.
But in the Daleks, they're only on Skaro, and they have never left the planet. So the Daleks must have happened at least before Mission to the Unknown. Because Mission to the Unknown is 1,000 years after they invaded Earth.
Well, in Dalek Invasion of Earth, they don't need the radiation to survive.
Right. And
so the Daleks must have come in between.
The Daleks evolved from the radiation on Skaro, and they needed that to survive for whatever reason. Right?
Yeah, but then the Doctor kills all of them.
Right.
Which creates a major plot hole.
Ah! I think everyone's wrong, and the Daleks happened before the Dalek invasion of Earth. The Doctor thinks the Dalek invasion of Earth happens before the Daleks, but I disagree. I think
it was just one Dalek rebuilt the entire race or something, or restarted.
Something like that.
I guess that could make sense.
Or there were Daleks who left Skaro in search of other things, and then they kind of rebuilt the whole race. I don't know.
But remember, in the Daleks, they couldn't leave the city because they needed the radiation, which makes everything not make sense because of that.
Maybe the Doctor didn't kill all the Daleks on Skaro.
That's why I would think that this would come in between the Dalek invasion of Earth. Well, no.
The Dalek invasion of Earth would have had to happen after the Daleks then, because in the Dalek invasion of Earth, they didn't need the radiation to survive.
But in the Daleks, they had never left Skaro. Oh, God.
Okay, here we go. This is my theory. The Daleks. The Doctor didn't kill all the Daleks off. They were... All the Daleks were on Skaro.
Right.
But the Doctor didn't kill them off.
Right, but he thought he did.
He thought he did. Then they kind of evolved...
To not need the they evolved to need the radiation, and they evolved not to need the radiation anymore.
Yeah, because the radiation never would have gone down. Because the Doctor destroyed all their bombs.
Okay.
So they would never have been able to use it. So
okay.
It has to be that way because the Thals on Skaro survive, right?
Yeah.
Except in the reboot, they're dead. They don't exist. So the Daleks must have survived, killed off the Thals, evolved not to need radiation, invaded Earth, and then 1,000 years later, this happens.
Okay, then the Daleks must have happened like 1,000,000 years before the Dalek invasion of Earth.
It's a time machine. It's entirely possible.
Okay.
I mean, the Daleks, the Skaro is in another galaxy.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
But on the other hand, the Daleks in the Dalek invasion of Earth hadn't heard of the Doctor. And then what about the chase?
Maybe they just forgot.
Well, they have time travel technology. We're forgetting about the chase.
The chase must be Daleks far in the future using their time machine to go back to the past.
Yeah, maybe the Daleks happens after Dalek invasion of Earth, and the Daleks who invade Earth and that are just from the future.
Maybe the Daleks just happens, like, way, way, way in the future, even after the chase.
Maybe.
But then it wouldn't make sense with the reboot when the Thals are dead.
I don't know if the Thals are dead, but I do know Skaro is a wasteland that no one goes to anymore.
Maybe that version of Skaro is way after the Daleks.
I don't know.
Whatever. All that's confirmed is that this takes place 1,000 years after the Dalek invasion of Earth. It's way too confusing to try and figure it out.
Continuity.
Is there an official timeline or something?
For the Daleks?
There must be. There has to be.
I'll look it up. You keep explaining the episode.
Where did we leave off?
1,000 years afterwards.
Right, so Corey landed the ship there purposefully to see what the Daleks were up to, because the way they knew the Daleks were on that planet was because they were using a sort of, I guess it was a biological weapon, you could say, the Varga, which were, what?
This makes it worse. Let's
not even read it. We could for the comedic effect.
There's a serial called The Genesis of the Daleks. I don't know what it's about, but it says the Daleks before that and the Daleks after that take place in different continuities.
Well, I think
some time travel mumbo jumbo. I don't know.
I think we can just conclude all this by saying the writers had absolutely no idea what they were doing with the Daleks.
Yes.
And they just tried to put them in as many serials as possible.
By that you mean Terry Nation, right? Because I think he wrote every Dalek serial.
Yes.
So far, for us at least.
Yes.
Okay.
But whatever. It's
the
time
Vargas.
space travel. Yes, the Vargas are a plant-animal hybrid thing that the Daleks created on Skaro, and basically they would sting you with their needles or
whatever. The poison would make you want to kill people,
and eventually turn you into a Varga yourself.
Right. Honestly, I'd be more scared of the Vargas than the Daleks.
The Vargas are super slow-moving, though.
But if you shoot them, they just regrow. You can't kill them.
Okay. True. But I feel like they never show up again after this.
Probably.
So, the only possible explanation for the Varga being on Kemble would be if the Daleks were there, too. So, they're gonna go explore, I guess.
No, they're gonna send it.
They're gonna send their distress signal, but they're also gonna try and track down.
And then it cuts to the Daleks.
Actually, no, they decided not to track down the Daleks.
They decided just to send the...
Yeah. But they go outside. It cuts to the Daleks first.
Yeah, it cuts to the Daleks. And the Daleks are talking to a bunch of other aliens. And it looked like there was a Sensorite in the background, but it wasn't. And they were talking about some sort of outer galaxies plus Daleks alliance.
Yes, an alliance of 7 different species that was gonna...
Now that I think about it, I think then the Daleks mentioned that they're from this solar system, which means Skaro would be in the Milky Way galaxy. But that doesn't make sense, because the Dalek ship's never been sighted in the solar system before.
God.
There's discontinuities within this episode.
Did they mention that they were from the solar system or from the galaxy?
Well, it was the 6 outer galaxies.
Yeah, the 6 outer galaxies.
It's the Daleks of the solar system. I'm sure they said the Daleks of the solar system.
Yeah.
The Milky Way galaxy! There's discontinuities within this episode.
Or we're just interpreting something wrong. Or it's going to be explained later.
Maybe we misheard something.
To be honest, I'm just gonna go with it. There's nothing else. There's no other way around it.
I feel like they decided the TARDIS is going to be traveling through time, and at the same board meeting, they're like, guys, let's just not care if the time travel doesn't make sense. And everyone was okay with it.
Yep.
So, the six outer galaxies and the Daleks are making some sort of super PAC. Yeah, to fund a government campaign. No, super PAC. And the delegates want to know if the people have been killed. The Daleks are like, oh, we'll hunt them down. So like, are you sure? And then it cuts back to the people. Corey and Lowry.
And they go outside their spaceship to send their distress signal, and they see that Garvey has been turned into a Varga.
Right.
But the Varga are really, really, really slow moving, and Corey and Lowry just leave.
Yeah, they just kind of walk away and like, yep,
So
nope, we're out.
we decided to add Garvey to the death count because we thought that he had died before being turned into a Varga.
Mm-hmm.
So he is now on the death count. So the Daleks deploy some Daleks to go hunt down Corey and Lowry.
And, well, Lowry gets cut by a Varga plant. And he pulls a Barber and decides not to tell Corey.
Smart move.
We all know how well that worked out for Barber.
And it
Pretty
works
well.
out, yeah, pretty well, but it works out way less well for Lowry, who eventually starts wanting to kill Corey, and then Corey just kills him.
Yeah, Corey's like, nope, you're not going to kill me.
Yep.
And then the Daleks show up and kill Corey. Well, Corey records a message.
He records
signal.
He records the distress signal, but doesn't send it, and then the
Right.
Daleks kill him. Mm-hmm. And then the camera zooms in on the giant tape recorder he was using to record the distress signal with. So that's probably going to be a major thing later on.
Yeah.
But
and that's the end of the serial, really.
basically it.
They accept the pact, and then they say, we're going to invade Earth first.
And then the Dalek Supreme wipes the miniature Earth off the map of the solar system dramatically.
And the episode ends.
Yeah, that was really it.
Yeah.
Short, but I liked it, and I liked what it promises for the rest of the season, or the next couple of serials.
So I just read something interesting on the wiki that this episode was written by Terry Nation partially as an attempt to create a spin-off series featuring the Space Security Service that Corey was a part of, as well as the Daleks.
That obviously didn't play out.
Yeah, that failed. It was also produced because they turned Planet of the Giants from 4 episodes into 3,
Oh.
and they needed an extra episode to fill the...
I don't know. I don't think a show featuring the security police would be too interesting. I mean,
We
what we
basically
saw,
got that in the reboot with Torchwood, sort of.
sort of. Have you watched Torchwood?
One episode, the first episode.
Is it ongoing? I mean, is it still?
It's done now. They did 2 seasons. They kind of did a 3rd season, and then the 4th one was made in America, and it was kind of done after that.
But yeah,
And yeah, that's basically it. I
yeah.
mean,
1 episode serial, shortest serial so far, and basically just a setup for what's to come. And as we all know, the Doctor's companions are going to get mixed up in this.
yep. And well, this final note, I guess, because we're going to end the episode now since we don't have anything to talk about. This episode was recorded and produced with Galaxy 4, in season 2 production block.
Huh.
So it was also made by the same team, so they basically just considered a 5th part of Galaxy 4, even though it formed its own serial, really. And that's that. Verity Lambert is now out. I don't know who's in, but we'll find that out next week in the closing credits.
Yes, and funny note, the Doctor, or William Hartnell, was still mentioned in the credits, even though he didn't appear in the episode at all.
It's because his contract required him to be mentioned in every episode. That's that.
But yes.
Email us at thedoctor@decorativevegetable.com.
Comments, questions,
Concerns. Angry rants, love letters. Check us out on iTunes. Rate us on iTunes if you're already listening to this on iTunes.
Check out the website.
Check out the website. Next week,
The Myth Makers.
no idea what it's about, but it should be interesting, I think.
Right. But
Just that name is interesting.
yes.
I interrupted you. Go ahead.
All I was going to say was the end.